Hello everyone, my name is Gracie Wawara, a student at Stephen Hampshire University. So I'm now going to talk about the video of the project called credibility and validity, which is under the goal called Go Behind the News. So in this video I'm going to talk about the three stories. The first one is news story. One have title of visuals assault checks Texas town. So and this story is from New York Times source, and it has date on March 8 2011. So the question is asking me if this story is independent versus self-interested. So the story source, it seems that is independent, and this shows that they are unconnected to the profit from the result of this story. So the source for this news has nothing to do with the story. So that was reported. They are biting an elementary school's youngster who informed the teacher about a awesome smartphone video featuring one of her classmates. So this demonstrates that the source is unconnected about his or her own self-interested. So again, the second question is asking if this story has multiple sources versus one source. So based on how I was reading, this story is made up numerous or different sources, and this is because it was aimed or has purpose to elementary school students or runners, a rated teacher to read a cell phone video that is involved one of her classmates. So again, this means that they were both reporting on the same story about an elementary school youngster who alerted a teacher to a gruesome smartphone video involving one of her classmates. Another question is asking me if this story is verified versus assets. So the story source attempted to use different reporters. So this is because the factor that this due to the fact that the story contains or involved shows real fact. This is why I think that the source of this story provided evidence to verify that was their were representing was correct. So I just said because it was mentioned in the narrative. So the footage read the cops to an abandoned trailer, more evidence, and then a roundup. Authorities arrested 18 young men and teenage boys at the abandoned trailer house during the last month on suspension of participating in the gang range of 11 years old girls. This is another evidence. So this fact explain how this story has variety of evidence, and also it used the real persons. Uh, Another question is asking me if this story is authoritative and informed versus uninformed. So based on how I see this story and according to how I was reading it, the sources in the article are authoritative and informed. This is because that story cited in the article are the article cited reliable and well informed. I suggest and I can say this because the source has information based on the children who may have notified a teacher to gruesome cell phone video involving one of her classmates. So the raw informant officer who are investigating the criminal law, the criminal the law enforcement officers who are investigating the criminal are very clear on this. So by integrating diverse opinion of an 11-year-old girl's gang rape in abandoned trailer house, so the story source demonstrate skill and knowledge of the subject topic. So that's why I can say it is authoritative. So it is stated and informed based on how this story it demonstrates the fact or asset a fact confidently and strongly without demonstrating awareness of understanding of the fact in the primary in the consistent formation, which includes according to the Houston Chronicle and evident affidavit presented to support the search request, and stated that the girl was forced to have sex with numerous men in both locations on November 28 using image and video as proof. So where was her mother? So that is another court. Where was her mother? Inquired once more, Mr. Harrison, one of a few neighbors who agreed to go on the record, wondered around. What was her mother thinking? How is it possible that 11-year-old child is missing in the quarters? So those are the courts. So that's why. This story also is named versus unnamed. So on my side, I can say that this story has name because there was information which are explained and specific, such as it just destroyed our community, said Sheila Harrison. So the Sheila Harrison, 48, a hospital worker who said she knows several of the defendants. So this boy have to live with this the rest of their lives. So not only that, but also the allegation first come to light just after Thanksgiving, like when a child who knows about her victims told the teacher that she had seen a videotape of the attack on the cell phone. As said, Stacy Gatrin said, is the one who is the spokeswoman for the Cleveland Independent School District. So those shows that this story is named. Also, Mauricius Guerrero contributed reporting from Houston as well as that is not name, and furthermore they all stated the source's name, which leads me to show and to say that and even to believe these stories is named. Based on the another question is asking, in my opinion, is this story credible or why not? So in my opinion, I can say that this story is credible, and this is because it's founded on the fact that there are many facts and evidence shows and more information and express the story's credibility. Those facts and evidence shows that this story is credible. There are another question. We can jump on the another question, which is asking what questions I may left with after reading and watching the story. After reading this story, I can remain with different questions, and those questions are why an elementary school student informed the teacher about the lurid cell phone video that included one of her classmates. Why they fought to do that? Also, the second one, is it possible for authorities to apprehend teenage boys who are involved in the gang rape of an 11-year-old girl? This story left me with number of unresolved questions after reading this. So Another one is asking, does this article or does this story or video qualify as new? Why or why not? So, yes, this video is qualified as an as news, and I say this because it meets all of the criteria. It have all of criteria for being classified as news. It has journalists, I mean reporters, credible sources, and title as a result of this. There is news from a reliable source with this. So that's why I can say this story is and this article qualify as news. By jumping on the second story, which has title called Apple announces iPhones and Phone 6 Plus, the biggest advancement in iPhone history. So this source is from Apple source, and it has date on September 9, 2014. The question is asking if this second story is independent versus self-interested. So I can see that this story's source is self-interested. You can ask me why. I can say this because the story revolves around advertising the iPhone totally. The source appears to be self-interested since they will require their product to be sold and known by a large number of people or audience, which is why the story appear to be independent to the story, to be attached to the story. So that's why. So the second question is asking me if this second story is has multiple sources versus one sources. So I can say this story based on this is the single source, I mean one source. This is because all reporters are under iPhone, are focusing on iPhone source, and that reason why I can mention this. With this, the story has been reported from variety of sites in order to promote the iPhone. Is this story very fast versus assets? So I can say the story uses assertion because of the way it persuades people about the use of iPhone. This means that because of how it persuade or it persuade people, it convinced the people to use iPhone. The story uses assertion. Besides that, they utilize the phrases like display of advanced technologies such as high contrast for deeper black and dual max, the main pixels for more accurate colors at wider reviewing angles and display of advanced technology such as higher. So I can see this. To summarize, this article is about the assertion stance the reporters are confident in their point and utilized phrases that bring awareness as well as attracting attention of the people or the audience. Another question about this second story is authoritative and informed versus uninformed. On my side, based on what I have been reading, I can say that the story is authoritative and informed. This is because the individual who are reporting this are aware of what they were talking about. So like iPhone, the value of using it as phone and how it works. Those people are well informed because they were focused on the iPhone and its critical relevance. They are expert in the field and are well vested in the subject. They are very experienced. And based on what they have been saying, they appear to be pros in selling phones in the iPhone category. That's why. Another one is asking, this second story is named versus unnamed. On my side, I can say this article is named. This is due to the fact that shows that some of information comes directly from Apple's CEO Tom Cook. Both models contain iOS 8, the latest version of the world's most advanced mobile operating system, with simpler, faster and more intuitive user experience with new message and photo features. Quick recap: TM keyboard, a new health app, family sharing, and iCloud Drive. So as mentioned by Apple, press information, you can see that this is named, and there are also print of official website where you may use difference of official website where you may get more information on the iPhone 6. As a result, this clearly implies how this article is named. Furthermore, they all state the sources names, which leads me to believe the story source is named. By jumping on question which has, in my opinion, is this story credible? Why or why not? I can say that this in my opinion, this story is not credible of news source based on how the reporters was the owner of company. I can state that the story is not credible. Again, exaggeration can be used by the corporation to attract a large number of people to its goods, its products. With that, it implies that the company's owner can employ skewed language to persuade or to convince the large number of the readers. The company did not show anything or anyone outside of the company. So as a result, I believe this story is not credible. Why or what are the question I left after reading this article? By reading the second article, I can say that after I can say that I left with some questions. For instance, I was asking myself, what are the main purpose of this story? Does this story make the reader to be happy after reading or to be attractive? Why company indicate, announce and publish it by using this strategy? Those are some questions I meant or I left after reading. So does this article or video qualify as news? Why or why not? I can say that based on how this video does not meet the requirement of news, as the story was promoting iPhone. So for that reason, this kind of commercial of iPhone, this implies that it is not news. It is a kind of advertisement. It is not news. I can jump on this sad story, the first story. So it has title of grief and protest for shooting a teenager. So this from source of New York Times, and the date on August 10, 2014. This story is independent versus self-interested. So in my side, this story is independent based on how I was reading. So this something I can say, I can explain, because it has nothing to do with the benefit of reporting of this subject. It then denotes that there is no connection between the source and the content of the story. So because they are was reporting, they are reporting on demonstration that arose as a result of the shooting of teenager boy. The source for the story are neutral. So as Julie and Emma said, so they need to notify people about the thousands person demonstration. The source is absolutely irrelevant. That's why I can say this. So the story is independent, or the question, another question is asking multiple if the sad story is multiple source versus one source. So because it was written by two different people, however they had the same goal and objectives. In that way, why this story has multiple sources. The authors of this story achieved an objective balance of opinion because it was reported by the writers who employ police and people as additional source of information. So this source is taken from various sources or multiple sources. So the use of outsiders demonstrate that it was based on the variety or multiple information of sources. The second question is asking if this sad story is verified versus asset. I can say this story used the verification of the information, and they used the many pieces of evidence to show or to demonstrate faith in what or real information in what they were writing about. This is the use of with this, for example, the use of photograph is considered as evidence. Part of that, the reporters presented the identification of a child who was cured. They showed his age and where he lived. This strong evidence that show a verification of the information in the story. So this is why I can say it is verified. Is this side story authoritative and informed or versus uninformed? So the source of article is authoritative and informed because the individuals who are reporting this are aware of what they were, are familiar of what they were talking about. And the reason why I can say this, as a result, they were talking about the iPhone, the value of utilizing it as phone, and how it works. Those people are well informed because they were I can repeat about this. So this study story is authoritative or informed or versus uninformed. The source in the articles is authoritative and informed. I can say this based on how the source of story has different fact and the evidence that make it trustworthy. For example, they were notified at the boys' div. Furthermore, they demonstrate experience and knowledge of the subject area by reading on the direct information from the country police to support the effort to produce truthful story based on what occurred or what happened. Another question is asking me if this sad story is named or versus unnamed. So the sad story are named in the story. This story is named. This is a tribute to the reason that they provided the identities of people who saw the boys thief. Those are also introduced the officers, including John Berma, the chief of the NAACP, and Esther Haywood, the deputy chief of NAACP. So those are the names. So part of that, they all state the source's name, which leads me to believe the source of the story is named, as mentioned by Julie and Emma source. This another question is asking if this sad source is opinion is in my opinions is credible, and to explain why or why not. In my opinion, I can say this story is credible. This is because according to the fact it show and presents all the structure of good story, credible story. It also includes those structures such as the source, title, and publication date. Based on it the image used to describe how things were doing the protest once again. So this is incredible. This is incredible as the result is independent. So that's why and incredible. Why question? What are the question I left after reading Sad Story? So I left the question which are: did the killer stop to kill the unnamed boys? What is the root cause of shooting that boy? So I was asking the reason why. So another question is asking if does this third article or qualifies as news, why or why not. So on my reasons I can say yes, is it verify is qualified as news. This is because it's written is written news, and it is written with the purpose of telling the audience what happened, more about killing of people by cops happened in the United States. Really, this article is news based on how it has source and the structures of news, content, and the audience. So that's why I can say this. Thank you very much for watching this video and gaining more information about three stories. Thank you so much.